Hello, everyone, and welcome. It's Shanna. I'm so glad you're here today. Now, today I've got Spellbinder's Flying High, newly released die set here. And we have got a cockatoo bird, and then we've got a branch, and we've got some floral elements and some leaves, and we've got all the plume and all the things for the cockatoo, and we are going to be creating a fun card with this. Now you can see I've got everything already die cut out, and I've kind of laid some of them together so that I know how it goes, and we're ready to assemble. Now I have chosen some really pretty colors from Spellbinders. It is the new color wheel colors. I've got Bellini, I've got Coral, and I also have Sicily, and then we're going to use the fern for the leaves, and we're just going to start assembling our cockatoo. Now, this goes together very easily because there's great debossed detail so that you can see how to line everything up. And you've got layers for the feathers so that you can add different colors. So I did the kind of the breast of the bird. Actually, I used chiffon for the actual breast of the bird, and then I used the coral and I used the Sicily for the darker colors of the bird. And I think it comes together very nice. So I'm just laying the different layers of the wings on here, and you can layer them up and have the different colors. I chose to make this a very colorful cockatoo. A lot of times they're mostly white with just a little bit of color to them, but I wanted to add some color. So you can see I'm just getting them all lined up in, where the etching is so that I can get all my pieces laid down just where they need to go. Just making sure I'm pinching it and getting it lined up correctly. And then we'll bring in the Sicily. I'm going to have to order some more of this. I got some of this in the Weekender kit. In fact, I think I have some on order. We'll wait and see what I get. I did order some things last week, and we'll see what I get. I feel like I ordered some of these colors, but if not, I'm going to need to get some ordered because I really like this color scheme, and I'm going to use it, most of it up on this. So I chose, because I did these kind of peachy colors, I chose to make the legs in brown instead of black. I also did the center of the eye in brown as well because I think they were on the same die set together. And so I just did that, and I thought it would look fine and it would blend well with the colors that we have on our card. We've also got that branch that is brown as well. We will bring a brown panel in as well for our background. So now I'm going to get the tail feathers laid down on here, and I'm just going to position it. Now there's a really good line on the tail feathers die that matches up, I'm showing it to you, with the line on the bottom of the bird's body, and so you can easily know how to line it up. And I'll kind of show you here. It lines right up with the bottom of that. And of course we've got our legs there, but you can still see to get it lined up. And there we go. In the detail on that, fabulous. And then we've got the bird's beak, which I chose to use the Sicily for that, for the plume on the head, and then the beak, and then the outer layer of the wings, just to really have some different colors on there, and I think it looks really cool. Such great detail. Spellbinders does the best detail with their dies and all of the bits and pieces that they add. So now I'm trying to decide what I want to do next. I was thinking about the eye, but I think I'm going to go ahead and put the head piece on there, and you can line it up very nicely as well. There's some detail on there that shows you how it lines up. And so we're going to get some glue on there, and we'll just get it lined up. And we're going to have a very colorful bird here. There we go. Just giving it a good pinch. Now we're going to do the eye. I've got the white of the eye, and then like I said, I use the brown for the eye, and I think it works out fine with our color scheme. And it's just teeny tiny. I'm going to get some glue on there and get it laid down on the white, and then we'll get it on our bird's head here. Now I made this card early this morning, and I I did all the die cutting and then made the card. We actually had a graduation party that we went to early in the morning. It started at 9. I think we got there about 9:30, but it was very fun. In fact, I haven't been at a graduation party like this before. They served breakfast. They had pancakes. This is what Noah wanted for his party, and he wanted to have it early so that he could go to all of his friends' parties. And it was the most fun. It was probably the best graduation party I've ever been to. And it was fun that we had pancakes, and they had all of these homemade syrups, like blueberry, fresh blueberries in a syrup that you could use, and all different options. And then they had some smoky links, and it was just super fun. So we did that, and my sister, met us there, and she had the golf cart. And after that, we went and did some rummaging, and we had a blast. I want to tell you about the graduation party, though. When you got there, he had an old-fashioned typewriter on the sign-in table, and it had a note there that said, "Type a message to him." And that was super fun to just use an old typewriter, and everybody really got a kick out of that. So that was really cool. Anyway, so we did that. And of course, we knew everybody there and could visit and everything. And then when we were ready to leave, my sister and I hopped on her golf cart and we did all this rummaging. We went and got our girlfriend, and all three of us just went all around town and did all this rummaging. And you wouldn't believe the stuff that we bought. I mean, we had that golf cart loaded down. In fact, we had to make a stop by my sister's house and unload a lot of what I bought because it was so much. I didn't have room to sit on the golf cart after we were purchasing. So we unloaded that so we could go shop some more. But I got some great deals. I'm just assembling all the flowers here, and a lot of them have 3 layers. You've got the floral layer and then the green layer and then another layer of the florals on top of it. So I'm just lining them up and pinching them together. I got this cabinet. I want to call it, it's almost like a secretary that is made out of pine, and you assemble it, and it was completely brand new, wrapped in plastic inside the box, a good size unit for $5. So that was a big piece that we had. And then I bought several Pampered Chef products that were unopened in their package. And if you buy Pampered Chef, you know it's kind of pricey. And these were so inexpensive. I couldn't believe it. I got a crock, and I got a decorating kit where you can decorate I make deviled eggs all the time, and I always make them fancy. And you can decorate your cakes and all kinds of stuff like that. What else did I get? Just a bunch of stuff, really. And we went to one rummage. It was actually at our first home that Pat and I had when we were first married. We lived there 35 years ago, and they were having a rummage there. And the little gals that were running it, everything was 25 cents. It was crazy. I told my sister, I said, they had stuff priced. She goes, well, they wanted to get rid of it. I said, they're going to get rid of everything, and they're going to have a whole $4 because everything was a quarter. But anyway, just picked up a bunch of fun stuff there too. So my sister is going to bring the stuff that we offloaded into her car. She's going to bring it later. She dropped me off at the house from the golf cart and was going back to her house, taking Dee home and then going back to her house. But I told her, I said, Pat's out mowing. Bring this stuff before he gets home. He's not going to believe all the stuff that I bought. But we had a blast. It was super fun. The weather was perfect for rummaging. It wasn't raining. It was a little overcast, and it wasn't terribly hot, but it was very comfortable. So we had a ball. And then I got back to the house, and I thought, I need to do these voiceovers. So I thought I'd sit down and rest for a minute and just do these voiceovers. But it was a good time. We had a really fun time. And this is our town rummage day. Every year, the first part of June, we have our town rummage, and we normally hit the rummages. And so that's what we did, and it was super fun. So anywho, so now I've got my bird assembled for the most part, and I'm going to bring in my panels. And I brought in this panel here that I gutted because I love this cardstock and I want to make the most of it. So I die cut out this oval first, and then I took this panel here and ran it through with this 3D embossing folder that is new. I will link all the materials in the description box below so that you can check them out, and just embossed this frame here. And this is going to be the bottom layer for our card. Just making sure I get plenty of glue on there, because when you've got a 3D embossed panel, you know, some areas are raised and some are lowered, and so you're going to get the glue where you can so that it will stick on your card base. And I left this video real time, so it's 20 minutes long. That's how long it took me to assemble the bits and pieces and then put the card together. Most of my videos I will do at 1.5 times. And I could have done this, but I thought we'd just take our time and assemble it, and you could just see how the cockatoo comes together. Now I brought in another panel, and I used the Lemon Fresco 3D embossing folder from the Weekender, and I thought it would be like our little bird is in a lemon tree. And so I'm just going to get this laid down on here. We are going to leave it white. I thought about ink blending a little bit, but I thought, no, I'm just going to do white, because we've got a lot going on with all of our flowers and the bird colors and the leaves and everything. So white would be just fine for it. I also did Free Hugs Oscar new die set too, and probably both of these birds will run the same day on my channel, the 10th, because that's when the products release, and I think they're super cute, so I want to get my content out there on the release day so you can check them out and maybe pick them up if you want them while I still have them in stock. So just going to bring in some glue and just get this one laid down as well, and then we'll start building our scene with our bird and all of our floral pieces and our branch. And that nested die it's fairly new too from Spellbinders. I'll try and link it up in the description box if I can remember, and that way you can check it out. It's fun. It's got the scalloped, and it's got a stitched, and it has a plain. So it has different, you know, the nested frames are different. Some of them have the stitching. There's one with a scallop, there's a couple with a stitching, and then there's a couple, I think, without the stitching as well, so that you can just have multiple layers with this nested set and, you know, have a different look with each panel. I'm just using the 2 here, but you could certainly use more. And I'm tucking that leaf in so that I at least have one of my bird's, I guess, claws or feet on there, and can get it rested. So we'll get it laid down on there. And I'm just going to tuck it in so that I can get the branch where I want it, but keep the bird's claw on there. And I think I'm going to be satisfied with this. I know that I want this floral to go underneath it. With Free Hugs Oscar, I put the flower, and it's a big flower, I put it on the front, and I wished I had put it on the back. So for this bird, I'm going to put it on the back. It'll peek through just a little bit, and we're going to layer up a bunch of flowers, so you won't see a lot of it, but it'll just add a little bit of different color to it. This is the only yellow that we're going to have on this card. And I had thought about maybe putting some yellow on that white panel, but I didn't do that. So we'll just get it laid down on there. We can glue this down, and then we can start tucking all of our bits and pieces around it to create our scene. So let's just get all this glued up, and we'll get it laid down on there, and then we will get our other elements on there. We've got to get our cockatoo's head on there so that he looks like a bird. So the fine tip bottle is great for these narrow pieces, so I'm using the Barely Art Glue with fine tip bottle. I'm not sure if I've said that already. I've had so many interruptions trying to do this voiceover that I'm not sure what I've said and what I haven't said. So I'm going to get the bird's body and the limb laid down there. We're going to bring in his head and get it set on there, and isn't that cute? I'm going to pop it up, put some foam tape on the back of it, give it a little bit of dimension, and, you know, it'll kind of push his head forward so that we have a good dimensional look there. And so we'll just get some foam tape and lay it down on there. So there we have it. And I think I'm just getting another little small piece to put on the feathers on the head so that they don't get, you know, kind of messed up with the envelope or in the mail or whatever. And then we'll just get this laid down on there. And now we can really see our cockatoo and how it looks. And I think it looks really pretty. Those two embossed panels really add some great background dimension and just some interest to the card. Now we've got all of our little floral elements, and I'm just going to start tucking them here and there and moving them all around and just trying to figure out exactly where I want them to be. And I'll just take my time just trying to figure out where I want what. I'm not sure what I did with that other set of flowers. I must have put it up higher out of view. Anyway, but we're just going to tuck them in and just trying to figure out how I can make this scene kind of come together. So there are lots of elements to this card. We've used, you know, 2 of the embossing folders, and we used that scallop and stitched oval die, and then we've got our flying high with all the bits and pieces that go with it. And I really like the paper selection that I've used for it with the Spellbinders cardstock. I'm holding those tweezers and then I'm tucking everything with my fingers, so I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but who knows. So I think I've finally come to the conclusion that I have it somewhat how I want it. So I'm going to add some glue and just get the pieces glued down. I think I wind up putting this one a little bit higher and then putting the single flower down there is what I wind up doing. So we'll just get that tucked in. And then we'll bring in our single flower and we'll tuck it in down there with the leaves. And then we're just going to get some glue on there and get it stuck down really nice. And I'm still fidgeting around, just trying to get everything how I want it. We'll get some glue and put our leaves down there, and then we'll add some more additional flowers. And that'll pretty much pull our scene together. I think I left this in real time, and that's why it's seeming to me to be really, really slow. So I'm just going to move these leaves around, and then we'll put some glue on them, and we'll get the rest of those flowers added. My husband is coughing and sneezing in the background. We've all kind of been fighting some allergies around here lately. So there we go. We'll put these flowers up here at the top, and then we'll add another single flower there kind of in the middle, and that'll fill in our spaces. Now, while I was filming this, I had a little error in which I thought I was turning the camera on and I didn't. And then I thought I was turning it off, and I was actually turning it on. So I did not actually get the filming of the sentiment that I put on this card. And so you will see it in the picture at the end. I also did not put the little cheek element. There's a little die cut piece that goes on the bird's cheek, and I did not put it on. It's actually the little white piece that is above my dies there, and I will color it with my ink pad off camera because I didn't get this filmed, and then I will add it to the cheek of the bird, and I will also get my sentiment on there. And for the sentiment, I used flying by to say hi, and that was from another Spellbinder set that I had, and that pretty much will finish off the card. So I'll put a picture at the end so that you can check it out and see the sentiment and the cheek, and that will finish off our card. So thanks for watching and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.